Some schools in Japan are strict about students staying behind after class. Most people think it is about liability, accidents, or kids sneaking around where they should not be. I used to think that too. Then I studied at a school where one classroom had a rule no one liked to explain. After dismissal, classroom 3-2 was never allowed to have only one person inside. I am Taiwanese, and when this happened, I was living in Japan with my family and attending a local high school through an international program. I will not name the school. It is still open. The old West building has been demolished, or at least, that is what the school tells people. Our classroom was on the 3rd floor of that building, at the very end of the hallway. The West building was older than the rest of the campus. The stairs were narrow. The green paint on the handrails came off on your fingers. After 4 in the afternoon, the whole hallway smelled like wet chalk and old wood. Our room did not get much sunlight. There was a large tree outside the back door, and when the branches moved, thin gray marks seemed to slide across the blackboard. Everyone in class 3-2 knew the rule, but nobody treated it seriously. The last student had to turn off the lights, lock the front door, and leave through the back. That part was normal. The strange part was what people whispered afterward. Do not be the only one left. If you are alone in 3-2, the room will take attendance. Students joked about it all the time. If someone was still packing their bag after evening study, another student would say, "Hurry up, or the classroom will mark you present." We laughed because that was easier than asking why the joke existed. Our homeroom teacher, Ms. Huang, never laughed when she heard it. She would only say, "Leave in pairs." That is all. The incident happened about a month before graduation. That evening, the school had a short power outage, and evening study was dismissed early. Everyone was happy to leave. Chairs scraped the floor. Bags zipped shut. People ran for the stairs before the teachers changed their minds. I was on cleaning duty with our class monitor, Bolin Chen. Bolin was the kind of student teachers trusted and classmates found annoying. He wiped the blackboard twice. He separated chalk by color. He checked that every homework notebook had been collected. He tied the trash bag so tightly no one could open it again. I was supposed to stay and lock the room with him, but my girlfriend was waiting outside the school gate, and I did not want a teacher to catch me leaving with her. So I told Bolin, "I am going first. Can you turn off the lights for me?" He stood beside the teacher's desk, holding the attendance book. He looked at me for a moment. He did not get angry. He only said, "You owe me one." I laughed and told him I would pay him back next time. That was the last normal thing he ever said to me. The next morning, Bolin did not come to school. His parents said he had never come home. The school called the police. Teachers searched the campus. Security footage showed students leaving the classroom one by one. It showed me running out through the back door. It never showed Bolin leaving. When the classroom was opened, the front door was locked. The back door was locked. The windows were latched from the inside. The attendance book was on the teacher's desk. The blackboard had been erased. The lights and fans were off. Only one thing was out of place. The chair in the last row by the window had been pulled back a few inches. Under the chair legs were 2 fresh white scratches. The school searched for 3 days. Nothing. After that, the story was buried. Exams went on. Graduation went on. During roll call, Ms. Wong skipped Bolin's name as if it had never been printed there. None of us asked why. We were too scared of the answer. But Class 3-2 did not go back to normal. Every morning, someone found the same line written in the upper left corner of the blackboard. On duty, Bolin Chen. It was erased. It came back. Bolin's desk stayed empty, but chalk dust collected on it every day. His textbooks were locked in the storage cabinet. The next morning, they were back on his desk. the worst part was roll call. Miss Huang would read the class list. When she reached the last name before Bolin's, she would stop. She never said his name. But from the back of the room, a soft voice would answer, "Present." It was not a student whispering. It came from under the desks, from the wall, from the ceiling fan, all at once. Low, dry, and familiar. Bolin's voice. After graduation, our class chat slowly died. People moved on. University, work, marriage. Bolin became something no one mentioned unless they were drunk or already afraid. Then, this March, Miss Huang created a new group chat. The name was Class 3-2 10-year reunion. She wrote that the old West building was scheduled for demolition, and she wanted us to visit the school one last time before it was gone. Someone asked if the West building had not been sealed off years ago. Ms. Huang took a long time to reply. "The first and second floors will be open in the daytime," she wrote. "Do not go to the third floor." Then she sent the same sentence again. "Do not go to the third floor." That killed the chat for a few seconds. Then someone made a joke about how Miss Huang was still terrifying after 10 years, and people started talking again. At 11th that night, Miss Huang sent a photograph of our old roll call sheet. The paper was yellowed. Class 3-2 was written at the top. She asked everyone to reply present beside their name so she could confirm who was coming to the reunion. It was a strange thing to ask adults to do, but people played along. Ya, Tingjiang, present. Chenghan, Wu, present. Guanyu Li, present. My name was number 26. I typed present. The messages kept coming until 37 people had answered. Ms. Huang wrote, "All 37 confirmed." A new message appeared immediately after hers. Bao Lin Chen, present. The profile picture was blank. The account name was Bao Lin Chen. Nobody typed for almost a minute. Then someone sent a question mark. Someone else wrote, "Whoever this is, it is not funny." Miss Huang did not respond. The account sent another message. "You owe me one." The group chat broke apart. People cursed. Someone told the account to stop using a dead person's name. Yeah. Ting left the group. The moment she left, an automatic notice appeared. Yeah. Ting Zhang left early. A few seconds later, she was added back. Her profile picture had changed. It was an old student ID photo of her in uniform, standing at the back door of classroom 3-2. Her face was pale and bluish. She sent a voice message, crying, "That is not me. I never took that picture." Nobody answered her. Then Bo Lin Chen sent a photo. It showed our old classroom from the teacher's desk looking toward the back. Every desk was empty except one. In the last row by the window sat a boy in uniform, head lowered, hands resting on the attendance book. The timestamp said 11:17 p.m. That night. The West building had been sealed for years. I did not sleep. When I answered, there was no voice at first, only the sound of an old classroom fan turning. Then a boy asked, "Yi Changlin, are you leaving first again today?" I hung up and sat in the dark until morning. The next day, Miss Huang sent me a private message. "Meet me this afternoon." We met at an old coffee shop near the school. She looked smaller than I remembered. Her hair had gone mostly white, and she carried a brown envelope in both hands. Before I could say anything, she said, "You should not have replied." Inside the envelope were 3 things. The first was the cleaning duty sheet from the night Bolin disappeared. 2 names were written there, Yi Chenglin and Bo Lin Chen. My name had been circled in red. Beside it, in handwriting I did not recognize, were 2 words, "Left first." The second item was a photo of the back door of classroom 3-2. A small notice had been taped there. "Students may not remain alone in this classroom after school. I remembered the notice. We had drawn a stupid ghost face on it. The third item was a repair request from the school office. It said, "The lights in the third-floor West Building classroom stayed on at night when no one was inside. In the lower corner was a red stamp. Handled." Ms. Huang said, "Handled does not mean solved. It means the name is removed. From the handbook. From the school history room. From the graduation album if necessary. If nobody says the name again, the student becomes a transfer, a dropout, a family move. Someone who was never there." I asked why she had not told us. Her hand shook once. "I did tell you," she said. "You laughed." She looked down at the photo of the back door. That night, I was supposed to check the third floor. The principal called me to the office about parent meeting documents. I told Bolin to lock the room. "I thought you were still with him." Then she looked at me. We all left him alone. I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to say I had only left a few minutes early. I wanted to say I could not have known. But I did know the rule. I just did not believe it. Miss Huang stood up. "The reunion is canceled," she said. "Do not go back to the school. Do not answer in the group." Her phone lit up before she could leave. A new image had appeared in the chat. It was another roll call sheet. Expected. 38. Present. 37. Absent. 1. In the absent column was Ms. Huang's name. Her face changed. Not fear exactly. Recognition. She turned off the phone and said, "This time it is the teacher's turn." I grabbed her sleeve, but she pulled away and left without looking back. 30 minutes later, people in the group said Ms. Huang was not answering calls. 10 minutes after that, Bolin Chen sent an audio message. I knew I should not play it. I played it anyway. First, the old fan. Were. Then Ms. Huang's voice, small and strained, taking roll call. Ya Tingzheng. Present. Zhang Hanwu. Present. Guan Yuli. Present. She read the names one by one. When she reached mine, a chair dragged across the floor in the background. Yi Chenglin. Silence. Ms. Huang waited. Then she whispered, absent. The recording ended. I ran to the school. The West Building was already fenced off for demolition. A young security guard told me no one was allowed inside. I said I was an alumnus and that a teacher had just gone in. He frowned and said no teacher had entered. Then I saw the light. On the third floor of the West Building, at the very end of the hall, one classroom window was lit. A white fluorescent light flickered behind dirty glass. I found a gap in the fencing behind the athletic field and slipped through. The first floor was full of dust. A sign on the wall said, "Entry prohibited." The stairwell smelled of cement powder and old books. Halfway up, my phone vibrated. Someone had sent a photo to the group. It was a picture of my back as I climbed the stairs. The camera angle was half a floor behind me. I turned around. The stairs were empty. A message followed. "Yi Chenglin, come to the third floor." The third floor hallway was colder than the rest of the building. Every classroom door had been removed except one. Classroom 3-2 still had its door. The nameplate looked too new. White light leaked from underneath. Inside, chalk moved across a blackboard. Scratch. 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 I opened the door. The room was exactly as I remembered it. Desks in rows. Clean blackboard. Attendance book on the teacher's desk. Fans turning overhead. Ms. Huang stood at the front, wearing the beige jacket she used to wear 10 years ago. She was writing on duty on the blackboard. She heard the door and said, without turning, You came. When she faced me, her face was still old, but her eyes were not. They were the sharp eyes of our homeroom teacher from 10 years ago. She said, "Sit down, roll call." There were only 2 visible people in the classroom, Ms. Huang and me. But every chair had been pulled back a little, not enough to look messy, just enough to suggest someone had just stood up. I looked toward the last row by the window. Bolin was sitting there, uniform neat, hair the same length as the night he vanished. Attendance book in his hands. His skin had no color, but his face was too clear. He looked at me and said, "You finally came back." Miss Huang slapped the desk. "Roll call." She read the first name. "Ya. Ting Zhang." From the front left of the room, a voice answered. No one was there, but a textbook opened by itself. Cheng Han Wu. Present, from the back. In the window reflection, a boy lowered his head to write. Guan Yu Li. Present. With each name, the classroom gained another sound. A pen turning. A cough. A chair being pulled closer to a desk. The class was filling up around me, but I could only see pieces of them in glass, shadows, and the dark space beneath desks. Ms. Huang reached my name. Yi Chenglin. I did not answer. She looked up at me and mouthed, "Do not." From the back row, Bolin spoke. "You were like this before. When your name was called, you were not here." That hurt more than fear. I thought of the night I ran out, the note I had written to my girlfriend, the way I told myself Bolin would be fine. I wanted to apologize, but my voice would not move. Miss Huang continued. "Bo Lin Chen." From the last row came one answer. "Present." Then the whole room repeated it. Desks, windows, blackboard, fans. Present. Present. Water began to seep from the pages of the attendance book. Ms. Huang turned to the last page, and her face went pale. I stepped forward and read it. "Absent today, Yi Chenglin. On duty today, Bolin Chen. Next duty student, Yi Chenglin." Bolin stood. The chair screamed against the floor. He said, "What you owe me is not one light. It is 10 years." He walked toward the front without making a sound. I backed into a desk. On it was a folded piece of paper. The note I had written 10 years ago. "I am leaving first. Call you later." No one knew about that note. Bolin picked it up. "After you left," he said, "the classroom kept taking attendance. It asked me if anyone else was here. I said yes. Yi Chenglin, he will come back. But you did not." That was when I understood something worse than revenge. Bolin had been waiting. For 10 years, he had believed I would return. Miss Huang stepped between us. Her voice shook, but she did not lower it. "Bolin Chen, I told you to lock the room. If someone has to be counted, count me." Bolin shook his head. "Teachers take roll call. Teachers cannot answer for students." I forced out the words. "Bolin, I am sorry." He looked at me without anger. That made it worse. "You did not come back to apologize," he said. "You came back because your name was called." Static crackled from the corner of the room. The old speaker had been removed years ago, but the school announcement system came alive. "Class 3-2 duty student, please remain in the classroom and turn off the lights." Repeating. "Class 3-2 duty student, please remain in the classroom and turn off the lights." The chalk moved by itself. "On duty, Yi Chenglin." My name appeared in large strokes. Chalk dust fell like ash. Ms. Huang grabbed my hand and shoved a ring of keys into it. "Back door," she said. "Go." Then she ran to the front door and blocked Bolin with her body. He reached for her shoulder. A cold gust hit her hard enough to make her sway, but she stayed there. She looked at him, and her voice became soft. "Teacher is sorry." Every sound in the room stopped. The fans, the chalk, the desks. Bolin's hand froze inches from her shoulder. For the first time, he did not look like a ghost. He looked like a 17-year-old student who had been left in a classroom after everyone else went home. Miss Huang said, "You were not left alone. We left you there." Bolin lowered his head. His hand dropped. Miss Huang looked back at me. "Go." I ran to the back door. The key was ice cold in my hand, and it took 3 tries to open the lock. Outside was not the hallway. It was a black stairwell descending into nothing. Behind me, Miss Huang started roll call again. Faster this time, forcing each name out before the lights died. Ya. Dingjang, present. Cheng Hanwu, present. When she reached Bolin Chen, she stopped. When she reached Bolin Chen, she stopped. Bolin did not answer. The classroom filled with the sound of many people breathing in. Then Miss Huang said, "Bolin Chen, left early." The words appeared on the blackboard. Every fluorescent light in the classroom flashed white. Something shoved me through the back door, and I fell into the 3rd-floor hallway. The door slammed shut behind me. From inside came Ms. Huang's last roll call. "Ye Chenglin." My mouth opened by itself. I almost answered. At that exact moment, my phone rang. The caller ID showed the name of my girlfriend from that year. We had not spoken in years. I answered. Ms. Huang's voice came through the line. "Do not answer." The call cut off. I bit my tongue until I tasted blood. The classroom went silent. 3 seconds later, Bolin spoke from behind the door. This time, teacher is counted first. "What you owe me comes next." I ran downstairs. By the time workers and the security guard pulled me out through the fence, the 3rd-floor light was off. The next morning, the news reported that a female teacher had entered a demolition site and died after falling on a stairway. The article did not use Miss Huang's name. The school posted a memorial on its website about her dedication to education. Former students wrote messages underneath. "Rest in peace, teacher." In our Class 3-2 chat, no one said anything. After Miss Huang died, the group name changed by itself. Class 3-2 10-year reunion became Class 3-2 roll call group. One teacher disappeared from the member list. Bolin Chen appeared. His profile photo was no longer blank. It was an ID photo of him in uniform. He was not smiling. His eyes looked straight into the camera. The whites were gray. At midnight, the group sent a roll call sheet. Expected: 38. Present: 37. Absent: 1. My name was in the absent column. Under it was another line. Duty unfinished. Please turn off the lights. I turned off my phone and threw it in a drawer. The next morning, it had turned itself on. The screen was open to the group chat. Bolin Chen had written, "Yi Cheng, tonight is your turn." The west building was demolished later. I watched from far away. When the excavator broke through the 3rd-floor wall, I saw that classroom 3-2 had no desks and no chairs, only a blackboard. The blackboard was covered with the word "present," written over and over from top to bottom. A worker laughed and said, "Must have been an old student prank." I did not laugh. At the bottom, under all the other writing, was my name. Yi Chenglin, present. I did not write it. At least, not then. Now there is a duty sheet taped to my apartment door. The first time, I thought it was junk mail and threw it away. The next day, it came back. Class 3-2 duty student today, Yi Chung-lin. On the third day, an old classroom key appeared beside it. The faded tag said, West Building, 3rd floor, Class 2. Last night, I woke up and found my bedroom light on. I had turned it off before sleeping. The living room smelled like chalk dust. My phone lit up by itself. The group was taking roll call. Name after name appeared. Everyone answered present. Finally, Bolin sent a voice message. His voice was close, right outside my bedroom door. Yi Cheng, everyone else has left. You should stay and turn off the lights. If you ever studied in an old Japanese school, you probably remember classroom duty. Someone wipes the board. Someone takes out the trash. Someone turns off the lights. Someone locks the door. Most of the time, it is ordinary. But some classrooms remember the last person who stayed, and some remember the person who left first. If you ever return to your old school and see a classroom that has been unused for years but still has its lights on, do not go inside. Especially if there is a roll call sheet taped to the door. Look at the absent column first. Make sure your name is not already there.